Good day today. Monday, day off in a limited contact practice. After a day off, and our guys responded. They came out crisp, clean. They responded to, traveling up here to Whitaker Field, and we do that, just again as a change, but also to, when we come back from this week and go back to Denius practice fields, it's kind of symbolic that, hey, we're back and we're now getting ready for the season. Some injury updates. Reggie Hemphill tweaked his ankle, nothing too major, should only be a couple days. Guys that are back are, we got a lot of guys back today. We got Chris Warren back from a concussion, Jason Hall back from a concussion. We got Tristan Houston back with a shoulder, and we got Brandon Jones back with the neck sprain. So getting healthy, and again, to have one guy go down with something minor today with an ankle sprain is good, and we got to make sure that we continue to get healthy as we start nearing the home stretch. Questions?
Is this as close as it gets to Junction?
Yeah, I told Fernando, I mean, this is not the same Whitaker I remember from 1999. This is a lot nicer. We got to find someplace a little rattier maybe next year so we can truly appreciate coming back to Denius.
The three corners that you had on the injury report last week, Bonnie, Devontae, and Josh Thompson, are they all back?
All back. Yeah, I didn't mention Devontae. Yeah, he's back too.
The dehydration, does that bother you? I know you made a big deal about it.
We test them every day, and so those were guys that tested okay. So it was. What day was that? Was that Thursday that those guys, or was it Saturday?
Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
11 o'clock.
That was a real one. I mean, getting out there at 11 o'clock on Saturday, I think it was 109 heat index, and so yeah, I mean, anytime something like that happens, it does bother me a little bit, but sometimes it's a little bit more understandable than others.
When you had a chance to look at the scrimmage film, what did you see? Did you have your MVPs also?
Yeah, MVP on defense was Poona Ford. The guy's he's a heck of a player for us, and he just knows one speed, and he goes and goes and goes. And then Sam Ellinger was the MVP on offense. Played really well, especially with the twos. He's got a makeshift offensive line in front of him when he's with the twos. So, but he makes the most out of it. I really, really thought, practice 12, again, I told them, when you get tired, we know what empty in the tank looks like. And it's not going to look the same practice 12 as it does practice 2. But they emptied the tank for us. They went really, really hard. Now, it wasn't pretty. But, again, practice 12 and 11 a.m., in that heat, it was... the effort was as good as you can hope for. The execution was really sloppy, but we got a lot more practices to go to clean that up. I was very proud of the effort compared to at any point during the spring. The effort was, you could tell that the guys were making a conscious decision to give great effort.
Tom, if the players, from hearing you talk, do the players know that if by the end of this week, if they're not with the ones and twos, they're probably not going to?
Yeah, you're probably going to scout team, especially for us. Normally you try to fill out your scout team with a lot of walk-ons, but we don't start classes until the Wednesday before the game, and so we've got to make a scout team for a week and a half, 2 weeks, with just 105 guys. So we've got to have a scout team on both sides of the ball. With just 105 guys, and so that you're gonna see a lot of scholarship guys on that scout team, and that's a pretty big indication that where you stand as of now. It's certainly no reason to give up. We've had guys go from scout team to starters in a couple weeks and perform well, but yeah, I think it'll be a good indication of kind of where you stand at the current moment.
Is there anybody that you want to elevate themselves in this final week that are on the bubble?
I told our defensive guys I want to see more Chris Daniels. I think, it's a guy that's changed his body, works hard, and we got to see if he can do anything. John Burt, who's making a push on the offensive side of the ball to be a solid contributor, and then so we gotta find a running back. Those true freshmen at times are, as we say, lost ball in high weeds. Man, it's like they don't know whether it's pumped or stuff half the time.
With the strides Sam made, has he narrowed the gap there?
Oh, yeah.
Still competition and pretty close?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Coach, with the concussion guys, what do you do? What's the protocol for Chris? And what about you?
Chris was non-contact today. As long as he's symptom-free in the next 24 hours, then he'll be released fully. And then Jason Hall is good to go. He was non-contact on Saturday, and then he didn't have any symptoms return, so he was full go today. So it's a very regimented deal, but I think it's pretty cool, that we have so much information nowadays, and that we're able to treat these much more intelligently. And the training staff and medical staff do a great job of making sure that every T is crossed and I is dotted, before we head out there. But those two guys are, as long as Chris is symptom free these next 24 hours, he'll be good to go.
You mentioned John Bird. He had a huge game opener last year and then had to drop season for the rest of the season. Did the coaches say anything to him, because it seemed to be a mental thing within the abilities? Pretty obvious.
Yeah, I mean, we say things to all of our players, when they're not doing well, and so I think he's developed a great relationship with Coach Maringer, and we worked really, really hard all off season to make sure that he's confident in his abilities and work. I mean, the biggest thing is he's got to know that we're confident in his abilities as coaches, and we are. And so I think once you give a kid that kind of trust and belief, then you see a lot of change in self-esteem and self-confidence.
CUNY, Roach, and Porter still.
Say it again.
CUNY, Roach, and Porter still.
Yeah, Roach is Cooney's still symptomatic with the head stuff, so he's in the, as they say, the protocol. But until he's symptom free, he can't progress. Roach is doing really good. He's out of the boot, and hopefully a day or two more on him. And then Porter's shoulder is. We're just going to continue to rehab it, try to get it stronger, and then brace it up and hopefully be back in less than a week. Hopefully by next week and ready to go.
What would you need to see out of Ellinger over the next couple of weeks to get him to starting out opening day over Michelle?
Production and protecting the football. We had 2 drives at one point today, and Shane put the ball on the ground, and Sam then took the 2s down and threw an interception. And so, if I had a third one, I'd probably put him in at that point. But if you produce and you protect the football and the offense moves when you're in, it's similar to really any quarterback competition that I've ever been around. It's, I go back to like J.T. Barrett and Cardell Jones. It's, does the offense move better when you're in versus the other guy? And right now that's not the case. The offense is moving better with Sam in than it was, 2 weeks ago, but he's still got some catching up to do.
Where has he made the biggest strides since the start of camp?
Where has he made the biggest strides?
Yeah.
Decision making. I think he's getting the ball out quicker, which I attribute to Coach Beck and him learning the offense. When you're a quarterback back there and you're unsure of what you're doing, and you got no shot. And I think that's the biggest thing I see in him is more confidence in where to go with the football, quickly.
What have you seen from McCullough
Jeff?
Jeff McCullough is smart guy, fun to be around, really, really athletic pass rusher that has to learn how to do the dirty work, has to learn how to be an every down guy, which means taking on guards, kicking you out on counter, and taking on fullbacks on power and divide zone, and getting nasty and getting physical and doing that dirty work. I think the want to is there, so that's not an issue. It's just the continuous repetition of that has to get better. But definitely an athletic guy that can rush the passer.
Your running backs, do you feel you've been able to judge them properly since they've all kind of been in and out of the running injury report?
Yeah, I don't know. Danny and Tennille haven't. I think Tennille maybe a day or two. So the freshmen we get a good feel for, but yeah, those other guys, Tristan, Kirk, and Chris, it's tough to read right now. But hopefully by tomorrow, all three of those guys will be back 100%, and we'll have a little bit better, couple days of gauging their readiness.
You're still not
Time for
looking at
two last
anybody
ones?
else at running back. You're not trying anybody else.
No.
And Sam, did he play with the ones from Saturday?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he 3 or 4 series, maybe 2 or 3 series, something like that.
Tom, what do you and Coach Orlando need to see out of your linebacker? I know you mentioned linebacker after the scrimmage. It's kind of, I think Deb said was kind of interesting. What do you need to see out of that group this week?
We need to get off blocks better. I think, if you ask me specifics, first thing, your 2 inside linebackers, as if you're standing back where I stand most practices, you should be able to feel them. I don't know that that's very scientific, but their presence should be felt. And with the 2s right now, I don't know. Gary Johnson has some flashes because he can run and he'll strike you. But I think when you talk specifics, the specifics of just getting off blocks. You're always going to have a guy assigned to block you, playing linebacker, and so you've got to be able to defeat blocks, whether it's anticipate where that block is going to be or take it on and shed the guy and go make a play. And we're better than we were in the spring, but I think we still have some room for improvement there.